I said forget about it, cuz.
Hi everybody, my name is Sid. Welcome back to my BookTube channel. I'm excited to get into today's video. It's been a while since I sat down and filmed. I took out my hair and everything, so I'm rocking the natural do for now. Since my July wrap-up video, I've been just reading, trying to build up my August repertoire, and I've read 3 books so far. One of them is the book we're going to be talking about today. But before I get into all of that, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Also, I wanted to add before I get into the review and everything, I have a book Instagram. I know. Everybody's so excited for me. Basically, I just decided to make a space where I can talk and post about books outside of YouTube, where I can update people on videos and stuff like that. I give video ideas. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link to that down below. And I'll also put the handle somewhere on the page. Don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll make it happen. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the pleasantries. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Do you believe how dumb you look right now? You look so dumb. You look so stupid.
By now, I assume that most people would have some kind of idea of where they're at with such a fun age. I'm kind of late to the conversation. The book came out last year, and when I was looking at reviews to kind of familiarize myself and get ready to film this video, most of the videos were filmed 9 months ago, 5 months ago, so I'm the late girl to the conversation. So I just thought, instead of beating you over the head with the information you already know, I just kind of give my opinion on some things in the book that I loved, that I didn't really love, and basically my overall thoughts on such a fun age. I really enjoyed it. You can probably tell by looking at my Goodreads, I'm not a very picky reader. Usually I find a novel of any kind, and if I go in thinking I like it, most of the time I'll like it. But with this book, I really went in thinking I was going to love it, that it was just going to be this profound piece of literature. And I found myself just a tiny bit disappointed with the way it turned out. Not with the content of the book or anything, or the writing or anything like that. Mostly with some opportunities that I think were missed across the board. To start off, I think Amira's character kind of got pushed to the back towards the middle of the story. For a good chunk of the story, I felt like this wasn't really Amira's story to tell. I just chalked it up to being maybe that was the intention. We were supposed to go in thinking we were going to get a story about Amira, and then her story had been overtaken by Alex, because that's what happens in real life, unfortunately. But I feel like there was just something missing. There were elements of Amira's story that weren't touched on. The first one I would say is the idea of colorism. Kiley Reid mentions in one of the paragraphs that the girls were lined up by skin color, and Amira was at the end of the line. And I don't feel like anybody would really write that unless it was an important part of the story. Amira also mentions feeling threatened by Shawnee, who is her light-skinned friend and who has bouncy curls and those kind of things. So I feel like we overlooked that point in the book. When Alex is creeping on Kelly, she mentions that he can be seen with lighter skinned women and that kind of thing, and now he's with Amira, so he must be trying to prove something. And it's if that point is going to keep going up, why wasn't it finalized at the end of the story? Maybe I'm missing something. I don't really think I am, but I feel like that was an opportunity that we could have had her, an extra layer of her becoming herself and really embracing all she is as a dark-skinned woman. So yeah, that's the first thing. The second element of the story that I think was kind of glanced over is this idea that there are different types of Black women. Tamra is Alex's friend, and it's mentioned that she's Black and that her kids have afros and her hair is in dreadlocks, and she even mentions at one point in the story something to Amira about what she can do to make her hair grow longer, about being natural, about not wearing weave all the time. And I think that dynamic was very interesting as well, and I don't think it was touched on as much as it could have been, because I was interested in that narrative. I was oh, we're about to touch on this, we're about to get into the nitty gritty of being Black. It's not so surface level with white people getting into your business and deciding they know what's best for you. There are layers, there are levels to this. But we did it. It just kind of happened. We glanced over it. Maybe that was the intention, for us to kind of be in Amir's mind, because I know I've had moments with colorism, with that kind of thing, where I've kind of just put it out of sight, out of mind, and I didn't really talk about it anymore. So maybe that was the mindset. But I feel like when Amira has this revelation that she is the person who she wants to be, that should be something that comes into her head, that the audience can experience. I feel like it's a fun little thing. I feel like it's implied, but we don't really get an explicit saying if she's come to terms with her skin, with her hair. She feels comfortable being who she is, and she doesn't need, like, I don't know. That's just me, though. That's just me. So, Kelly Copeland and Black people. That was mentioned. Alex kind of insinuates that he has, like, a fascination with Black culture, with Black people, whether it be men or women. And I thought that was an interesting dynamic, especially after his slip up on page, 30? Girl.
These white men are dangerous.
That moment, I did not expect that. I literally had to take a break, sit down, and be like, what did I just read? But yeah, he slips up. So I don't know if he feels closer. I wanted to touch on more on why he feels so close to Black culture. I wanted Amira to figure something out, but she never really did. She kind of like acknowledges that he says something that's messed up, acknowledges that he dates Black women once Alex tells her, and then he's gone. Which, okay, he can be gone. He's not a part of her story anymore. But I wish that was touched on, because that's such an important aspect, especially in like today's day and age. It's like, why do people feel so close to Black culture, to Black people? And I feel like there was something deeper there. Kiley Reid wrote about it so much in the story that you feel like there's something that's going to just come out about him, about his character, about who he is as a person. And it never really happened. It kind of fell short. So, like, with all those, like, missteps that I mentioned, there are some incredibly great aspects to the book. I love that it addresses the white savior complex. I think it was very prevalent in Alex, and I think it was touched on in Kelly as well. Like I said, with him, like, feeling close to Black culture and everything. Maybe I saw an article at one point during my, like, research of this book, and it said something about how it addresses white wokeness. And I think it kind of misinterpreted that phrase. I don't think at any point anybody was trying to be woke or feel like they were a part of the time. I feel like it was more white guilt, if anything. Not like white wokeness. I don't feel like anybody was trying to be like, yeah, we Black Lives Matter, that kind of thing. They saw that a Black woman was struggling, and even when she said, like, I don't need help, I don't need your opinion, blah, 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 they still pressed on. They still tried to help any way they could. Alex especially felt like she needed something in return. And I thought it was touched on wonderfully in the book. I don't think Alex learned her lesson by the end, which sucked, but it is a reality. People like that don't want to be told they're wrong or that what they're doing isn't the best method of going about things. So yeah. Something else is I really thought this book was just hilarious. I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was. Zara, who is Amir's best friend, is just one of the funniest characters I think I've read about in a book like this. When I was researching the book, I didn't expect it to be funny. I knew there were some parts that were like satire, but I expect it to be a lot deeper than what I found on the surface level. Zara's hilarious. Her little stint at the end, I wrote about it on my Goodreads, but her little stint. Her one-liners, the way she takes care of Amira, it's not only hilarious, but it's like heartfelt and it's real. You feel like she could be a real character. And Kiley Reid's writing, you can just see all of this happening in your mind so vividly. Love that. They're mowing the grass outside. Cut it off. Something else is I feel like this book would make a great Netflix movie. I was like, I want to say a quarter of the way through the book when I felt that energy, you know? It is Reese's book club pick. So Are we getting an adaptation? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. But it would make like a great little Netflix coming of age movie, I feel. And I would love to see how that is adapted because it read so much like a script to me. But overall, I think the book does hit its mark. I think it touches on adulthood in a way that's honest and true and stays true to the narrative as well as being true to everyday life. It's interesting to see how adulthood is handled by someone who feels like she just has no place, no real purpose within the world that she's living in. She kind of has to really come into herself and learn to stand up for herself and be who she truly wants to be and make the moves that she wants to make money moves, honey. I also think that was the main reason why I was confused why Alex had such a big part in the story. It's because like her time being that at that young age, leaving high school, moving on from college, was filled with rage for Kelly. And it's like she wasn't truly growing into her adulthood. She wasn't truly growing into her adulthood the way she should have. She was kind of harboring this anger, and now I feel like she'll still be harboring anger at not only Kelly, but Amira. But overall, I think it's a great book. It touches on the dynamics of not only race, but class and, you know, coming out of college, the way different people choose to live their life. And with the aspect of Briar added in, Briar's the little baby, the toddler that Amira feels so close to, Alex's child. I think that adds, especially the ending of the book, that last like little paragraph just added so much character to the novel and to the storyline. It was like you truly began to realize how life ends up differently depending on how you're raised, what you look like, you know, the things that mold you into the person you are. So yeah, I think that's it. I didn't really take much notes on these books. I kind of just wanted to get on here and ramble, especially since I haven't made a video in so long. So my thoughts might not be as coherent as they could be. But those are my thoughts on Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. I definitely recommend. Well, I just sat here and spoiled the whole book. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to pressure you to do anything, but like chill out, hang out with me. Check out my social medias, check out my new BookTube YouTube account, check out my Twitter. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.